In the following videos, I'm going to show you how you can create your own ebook covers using all free resources. We're going to go to places where we can get free images or clip arts. I'm going to show you where you can make a fancy font image that you can put on your e-cover. And then I'm going to show you some software that you can download to your computer, put it all together nice. And then the next thing we do is we go onto a website and we put it all together. So there are multiple steps to it, but that's sometimes what you need to do when you're looking for free alternatives rather than paying a bunch of money for one of the more expensive solutions. Okay, so in the first video, what we're going to do is we're going to install and go over a little bit about Paint.net, which is the program we're going to use to build the bulk of our e-covers. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Paint.net, and then we're going to do a run-through of how it works before we get going creating our images for our ebook cover. So if you go to Google and you put in get paint.net, now you don't want to do paint.net because that's a different site. But you'll see here paint.net, free software for digital photo editing. Now, of course, since we're looking at free resources, I'm showing you paint.net, but if you already have a solution, then you can use that. But this is the one I like to use. It's very simple yet powerful. And if you like to use GIMP, of course, you can download GIMP. It does the same thing, but I find that Paint.net is more intuitive. Okay, so once you're in here, all you need to do is go to the download page, and then you're going to download the package that you need for your computer. Be mindful of the system requirements. They aren't very high, so most people probably have the computer with these abilities. Okay, so just download what you need here. It says Paint.net depends on the Microsoft.NET framework, which it's going to install by itself, unless you already have it on. Okay, so nothing to worry about there. It'll do it for you. So just go down here and then download the package. Okay, so I'm just going to click here and we'll download it. Okay, and once that's downloaded, I'll run the installer. Okay, so I'm just going to choose the Express install and agree. You should read these. Click next. Okay, and now it's just going to prepare to install. Okay, so installed successfully. Let's fire it up here. Okay, so once it comes up, this is the interface you have here. So you have your main work area in the middle here, and then over here you have your tools. So there's different tools here, selection tools, paint tools, etc. Down here you have your color palette. Over here you have your steps. So whenever you do something, you'll see the step here. And down here you have your different layers. Okay, so everything you do with Paint.net is going to be done in a layer. So right now we have the background, and then every time we're going to do something different, we're going to add another layer. And then when we're all done, we combine the layers into a PNG file. Okay, so it's pretty simple. You have up here, you have your image, and here, if you go to resize, you can set the size of the image, and here you have maintain aspect ratio, so if you change one, it changes the other, and you can uncheck that if you like. Okay, you can choose from qualities here. I always just take the defaults with all of this. Also in here, you can do your canvas size. The canvas can be bigger than the image. Flip horizontally, flip vertically. You can rotate 90 degrees in either direction or 180 degrees. And flatten, that's when you combine all of the layers. Over here, we have layers, so we can add a layer, delete a layer, duplicate a layer, merge layers, import from a file. So if you're going to bring in a picture, flip horizontally, flip vertically, and rotate and zoom, and the properties for the layer. And then we have different adjustments where you can do different things: auto level the color, black and white, brightness, curves, hue and saturation, invert. Okay, so, and then here we have our effects, so we can add different effects to the pictures that we're creating. Okay, so those are a little more advanced. So really, it's quite easy to use. Okay, so there's a quick intro to it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to jump right in and start creating our first image for our e-cover. Okay, so in this video, we're going to put together the image for our e-cover. So what you're going to want to do is go to somewhere where you can get images. Okay, so for instance, we have Pixabay here, where you can get free images that you can use. And here's one: if you want to make something a little more campy, you could go to Open Clip Art and find clip art to use. And there are all kinds of other sites that you can use. Okay, so whatever e-cover you're making, you should find a related picture. So you can just go through the search here. So I'm going to go see if they got anything for classic cars. Okay, so as you see, they do have some here. Now, while you're looking at these, you want to make sure that there'll be somewhere for you to put some text on the image for your e-cover. Okay, so find one that you like and go with that one. Okay, so put your mouse over, you can see what it looks like. And then we'll pick the size we want. So 1280 by 802, 640 by 401, or vector graphic. Vector graphic means that it will be able to change sizes without distorting the image. Okay, so I'm just going to download the medium size. And if you join and register, then you don't have to type in the CAPTCHA here. But if you don't, then just type in the CAPTCHA code and you can download it. Okay, so we have that down now. So let's go and show it in the folder here. Just go to the location where it is. Okay, so I put it in a folder by itself called samples, so I can do all my work within this folder. Okay, so let's go back to paint.net. And what we're going to do is we're going to first create an image to the size we want. So we're going to want kind of an elongated shape like a book is, not a square shape like we have here. Now, what we should do is also bring in the picture in another window so that we can get the size of that. Okay, so we're going to do it open, and then we'll open this image that we downloaded here. And then let's go over to image and resize. We're not going to resize it, we're just going to look at the size. So it's 1280 by 802. As you see, it's wider than long, but we're going to need a width of 1280 for this to fit in there. So let's go back. You see here are our tabs. So let's go back here, and we're going to go to image and resize. And we're going to uncheck this maintain aspect ratio. The width is going to be 1280. Okay, and then we're going to make the height 1800. So it's 1.5 times as high as it is wide. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so this gives us proper shape for our ebook cover. Okay, so now let's bring in a layer. So we're going to go layer, and then we're going to do import from file. And we're going to bring this in. Okay, now we can move this. So let's just drag this down here. All right, so that's the layer for there. Now, if we wanted, we could put a color on the background here. Okay, so let's go over and click on background. And what we're going to do over here is do edit and deselect. Okay, so let's say we wanted background color. Let's choose something here. Let's try orange. So I clicked on orange. I'm going to do the paint tool or the paint bucket here. And we'll put this in up here. Okay, and there we go. So we have our background color now. And the only thing we need to do next is bring in another layer for text. I'm going to show you two ways you can do this. You can use the built-in text tool that we have here. And so if you go over here and you see T, that is your text tools and fonts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do layer and add new layer. Now our text is going to go on top of all of this. Okay, and then over here we have our different fonts that we can use. Okay, so you can use pretty much any font you want. I'm just going to use Impact. It's a very dark font. And then you can choose the color you want to use over here. Okay, so let's try white. Put your mouse in here. Okay, and then we should be able to just type away here. Now you see it's very small because of the size of our image here relative to our size of our font. So let's go here. BW Van Renovations. Okay, let's make it even a little bigger. Now, if you do undo, it'll go back one step and you can just go back and start over again if you want to. You can also go back in here, and if you undid something, you want to redo it, then you can just click on redo. Okay, and then I'm just going to click here. This allows me to move a layer around. Okay, so I can put this where I want here. And then I could add another layer. And then I could put text somewhere else in a different font if I want. I could put something down here by my name or whatever. I could put another description line in here, different color or whatever I want. Okay, so I'm going to do edit and deselect. And now I'm going to go ahead and type something else in here. I'm going to use a different font this time. Just for demonstration. Okay, so this one is showing bigger, so I'm going to go back here, tone it down a bit for the complete moron. I'm sure this is going to sell well. Okay, so let's bold this. Okay, now you see where the crosshairs are here. If you put your mouse inside of there, you can drag the text around. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. This is the simplest way. It's also the way that is kind of meh. It's not a real nice effects. I mean, the fonts are decent, but you can do a lot better with another tool, okay? And we're going to do that in the next video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your text using Cool Text. Okay, so as you see here, you have all different styles that you can choose from here. Okay, so I'm just going to go with white here. Okay, and then all you do is you put in the text you want. Let's see exactly what I said here before. So VW Van Renovations for the complete moron. You notice that we did renovations and spelled it right. So VW Van. Okay, now I would do a separate one for the complete moron rather than doing it all in the one font here. Okay, so now we can go down here and adjust the text size. Okay, and you get a preview of it up there. Okay, and then you have your glow color and your outer text color and so on. So you can change what you want here, so shadows, etc. So alignment top left. Okay, image width 600, image height 100. Okay, PNG with transparency, that's what you want. Let's create the logo. So we'll download it. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this now, and I'm just going to call it Renovations, just so we know what piece of text that is. Okay, so let's go back to paint.net. All right, now I'm going to delete these two layers. So delete. And delete. Okay, and now I'm going to do import layer, import from file. I'm going to bring this in. Okay, so that was a little small there. So I'll just spread it out a bit. Okay, now you see that this looks much better. Okay, so there's that one. Now I need to go back and create for the complete moron and put it in here. So back to Cool Text. Okay, let's create another one. And maybe we can try a different one here. You can do what you want. I'm going to use a different one from the main headline. Okay, so I'm going to use outline. Okay, so we're going to tone that down a bit. Okay, so you can make any changes to it you like here. Let's create it. Okay, let's download. Okay, so let's deselect this now. And we're going to do layer, import. Okay, so we'll stretch out a little bit. Okay, so something like that. And deselect. Okay, and there. You now have your cover art ready. So what we want to do now is we're going to save this twice. We're going to do a file and we're going to save. And we're going to save it as a PDN file. Okay, so that'll make it so that we can come back in and edit it. So let's just call it sample 1. And now we're going to do a save as, and then we're going to change it to a PNG. Okay, so that's good like that. Flatten. Okay, and our eCover art is ready. Okay, so that's it for that. Now, in the next video, we're going to go and we're going to create our 3D eCover. Okay, in this video, we're going to create the eCover. We're going to use a free package called 3D Package. Okay, so it's a free website you can go to, and you just go to 3d-pack.com. And it's very simple. You're just going to select the cover, which is your art that you created, and then the backside will use the same thing, and the spine will use the same thing. Now, of course, you could create separate ones for all of them, but no need since we're going to be mostly oriented toward the front side. So we'll go ahead and we'll browse for our cover here. So it's this PNG one that we created. And then we're going to go and get the back side. We'll use the same thing again. And the spine, same thing again. Okay, so that's really all we got to do. Now, I didn't mention, but we're on book here, and then there's some other types you could use as well if you feel like exploring those. But this video was to show you how to create an eCover. All right, so now we just create 3D box, and we'll wait for it to render. Okay, and you can see now that it has created the box. Now we can move this around and tilt it and so on. So you just put your mouse on it and you can move it however you see fit, whatever way you want it to look. So just mess around with it till you get it the way you want it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to save it as a PNG. Okay, so here's your PNG image. So now we'll just right click and we'll save image as. Okay, and we're going to save it in here. So I'm just going to rename this to cover. Okay, and we now have it down on our computer. Now, what we're going to want to do, you see here that there's a watermark up here. We're going to want to bring this into an editor and remove the watermark. I've checked this site and I don't see anywhere where it says you're required to leave the watermark on. So I'm just going to go and take it off. And you might want to take some of this drop shadow off or not. It's up to you. So you can edit this the way you want afterwards. And again, what we're going to do is open it up in paint.net. Okay, so do File, Open, and then we're going to open Cover. All right, so what you want to do is get this rectangular selection tool, and then just go underneath this watermark here and select the area you want for the cover. Now, if you just wanted a little less from side to side, you can choose here, for instance. Okay, so like that, and then we can go Image, and then we can do Crop to Selection. Okay, so now we have our eCover all ready to use. So all we have to do is save this. Now you could do a save as and just save it as another name so you still have the original. So I'll call it cover edited. And just click OK. And that's it. Okay, so now this cover is all ready to use. So that's how easy it is to create your own ebook cover graphics using all free tools.